Let me add the products back to our pivot table. And anyone who's been using pivot tables since Excel 2003 is probably screaming, saying, what exactly is this new view of the data? Look in column A. You'll notice that column A now contains both customers and products. That's unlike anything we've ever had in the last 5 versions of Excel. How can it be that Excel is putting 2 different fields in that same column? This is a brand new view, and it's called the compact view. Microsoft likes this view so much that they made it be the default view for all new pivot tables. While I admit that this is a pretty cool view, it might drive you crazy if you're hoping to take this data from a pivot table later and use it in a new analysis. Once a pivot table is selected, we have 2 new ribbon tabs, the Pivot Table Tools Options and Pivot Table Tools Design. In order to change from the compact view to one of the traditional views, we need to go to the Design ribbon. Along the left-hand side, you see icons in the Layout group. The Report Layout icon is actually a drop-down. And there are 3 layouts. Compact Form is the view that we see right now. Outline Form is the view that you are familiar with from Excel 97 through Excel 2003. And Tabular Form is the other, although a bit more obscure view that was available in prior versions of Excel. Let's take a look at the 3. Currently we have Compact Form, which shows us both customers and products in column A. If I choose Outline Form, then we have customers in column A and products in column B. This is the view that you're probably used to. If we choose Report Layout and Tabular Form, you'll notice in Tabular Form that the totals move to the bottom of each section. We actually have control in Compact Form and Outline Form whether the totals appear above or below the data set, but in Tabular Form is sort of the older form, and it always has to have the totals at the bottom of the form. Other new options that we have in the Layout group, we can choose whether or not the subtotal should appear at the top or the bottom of each group. We can also choose whether or not there should be a blank row after each section. Blank rows are only available in Compact Form and Outline Form. I choose Outline Form and then blank rows, insert blank row after each line. You'll notice that between each customer there is a blank row. This blank row kind of helps the eye to follow from one section of the report to the other. Now I want to go back to the compact view. There must be a reason that Microsoft made this be the default view. There must be some really cool things, some things that caused them to completely change from the same view that we've had for the last 10 years to the new view. Under Report Layout, if I go back to Compact Form, and I'm going to go back to the Options tab of the Pivot Table Tools. Now I need to choose one of the customers, so I'm going to click on cell A5. You'll notice that we have a couple of new icons, the Expand Entire Field and Collapse Entire Field, that show up in the Active Field group of the Options ribbon. Watch what happens when I say to collapse the entire field. We get a beautiful view that just shows us customer totals. I can imagine having a projector and being in a meeting showing this workbook. Someone will say, well, we want to see the detail behind one particular customer. You can simply click the plus and expand the view for that customer. The plus changes to a minus. If you need to then collapse, click the minus sign, and you can hide the detail. I agree that this is kind of a cool view, and I appreciate the fact that Microsoft allowed us to discover it by making it be the default view in pivot tables. You have to be aware that if you don't like this view, just stop by the Design ribbon to choose one of the old legacy views. I'm going to remove the blank rows, and that wraps up our look at the new views and options in the Layout group of the Pivot Table toolbar.